Hey everybody, welcome back to the Show and Tell Show. It's us. It's Jan and Nicole and Genevieve and me, Nahani, and we're reviewing things from our collection based on challenges we throw out to each other. Last week, Penetanguishene Centennial Museum challenged us to something with the letter A. So Penetanguishene, you're going first this week. What do you got?
Well, what we have is something that, despite its age, works twice as efficiently as my Starfrit model does today.
So yeah, that will give you a little bit of hint because when I put out A for April, the only thing I could think of when I thought about A artifacts was A for apple.
Oh.
And so most museums probably have some apple peelers in their collection, but I thought I would show you one of our most industrial looking ones and quite large ones.
Wow.
Here you go.
Yes.
This,
my goodness,
is called a bonanza, an apple peeler and pear and core bonanza. And so this obviously was more for industrial use than it was for your everyday, use. But I'm sure maybe if you had an apple orchard, maybe you had one of these because it was quite efficient. This right here, I'm trying to show it off. This right here is where you put your apple.
Yep.
This right here is the blade, and then this is what's going to core it. So there are actual videos out there that you can see where they're showing off this bonanza. And yeah, basically moving this, and the blade around the side will actually peel it. And this right here moves inwards. And then when it gets to a certain point, the apple will fall off. I would show you with this apple, but this is a fake apple. And this is from the late 1800s. So I don't think I really want to turn off. But yeah, that's what it was. So I would encourage everybody, if you want to just go into YouTube, look up a apple bonanza. And a lot of people have refurbished them because they do work really, really well and very, very efficiently and fast for when it comes to coring and peeling your apples. So,
and my Starfrit doesn't even core it; it just peels it.
No, it does. Yeah.
Clunk, clunk. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I have an old one and I've had the Starfrit one, of course, because you know me and kitchen gadgets. And the old one is way better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, way better.
No plastic components.
This one, right, which is a little bit more recognizable.
Yeah.
This is the one that you would put on your countertop, and you move this, and this just peels it. It doesn't core it. So that's also another very recognizable apple peeler. And yeah, the design for it didn't really change over the years, but this was made by the Goodell Company. And yeah, they started in 1888 and the company ended in 1931. So at least we have some idea of how old it is.
Very cool. Awesome. Genevieve, what do we have with the letter A?
I brought in, this is a really terrible photograph. It's in really poor condition. But this little apple doll right there, she spent most of her adult life living on a farm, actually just down the road from me. So that's why I chose her. And her name is Agnes Lang Richardson. And this is a photograph of her at her 80th birthday. I've seen actually better examples online. There are still a lot of family around, complete examples. But what we've got here is a photograph of her at her 80th birthday, which was celebrated in 1902 at her son-in-law and daughter-in-law, Lizzie Hope and Andrew Hope, their house, their farm on the third concession up in tiny township. But what's interesting about this photograph, it is difficult to see, but this woman right here is looking off in the wrong direction. She's not looking at the camera like everyone else is. And this fellow right here and his brother right there, all three of those photographs were actually added after this. So make it a birthday party, and I know we've got a lot of examples of these pre-Photoshop additions made to studio photographs. We have a lot of examples in the collection of that, and they're kind of awkwardly placed. You usually take a look and you say, well, that person's a little bit larger. His head is enormous. Why is that? But anyway, Catherine, the daughter Catherine, right here, she had married and moved to Michigan to farm with her husband, and that's probably why she wasn't able to attend the party. This fella here, the son James, he had actually moved to probably a little after 1891 when her husband died. So he was a bachelor, James, and he moved to help his sister with the farm. They lived Stalwart is actually in the northern part of Michigan, just a little south of Sault Ste. Marie, and not that far from Drummond Island. This fella here, though, you can only see this. He's the eldest son in the family, and his name was William, and he's a bit of a mystery. Can't find him. No one can find him after 1881 until he dies in 1915. Actually, we do know that in 1911 he was living on a farm as a laborer in Manitoba, but we don't know what happened to him between 1881 and 1911. So we don't know if he'd spent all that time farming in Manitoba and just wasn't able to make it to the party, or whether there was, as there often was, some sort of family feud. So we don't know exactly. But anyway, there's our, oh, and I do have one other photograph I found online, and that is my little apple doll, Agnes Lang Richardson, as a young woman, probably in the 50s, and 1850s rather. I just love her hat. I love the way it's perched on her head. It's so impractical. Here we are. So now, whenever I go for a walk, I'll be looking out. There is no farm on that property on the concession. So yes, so I imagine the house was torn down at some point for a new construction, or just for the land to be farmed. But anytime, anyway, here we are. Agnes Lang Richardson.
The letter
That
A.
is quite the hat. Yeah. Can you see what's on the hat? What's that?
Yes. It's it looked like flowers.
Okay.
And there's some sort of ruching or something up at the top. It's just so, I don't know, it's wonderful. It's just a little bit too small, and it's perched, and I bet it would blow off in a wind.
Very Victorian.
So, there we go.
You'd have to have your good Victorian posture so that you didn't move your head at all or anything.
That's true. That's true. It's not really a good farmer's wife hat. It's probably only meant for church.
Yeah.
And
only came out on Sundays.
I didn't know there was that much photoshopping happening back in that time period. I have to look back to the archives and see who's been photoshopped in. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Usually standing in the back row of a family photo like that, and they're usually, you can see sometimes a little tiny bit of white outline, and they're just out of proportion to everyone else in the photograph. It's kind of interesting. And then when you find out the reason why they weren't included with the rest of the family, sometimes it's pretty funny.
That's
awesome. So next week,
I won't elaborate.
All right, so next week, in case you didn't know, we actually filmed this a day before we released them. So next week is May the 4th. And while it's also Star Wars Day,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It is also one of my dog's birthdays.
Oh,
So,
Oh.
yes,
Are we-
Ninja will be 7. So I thought we could do something pet related because I'm sure we have pet stuff in our collection. Yeah, I'm sure we have something pet stuff. Something where pets are remembered in some way to the community or animal relay. So let's see what we
Okay.
have.
okay.
Okay.
You've set us a challenge.
Yeah, I'm sure we have something pet related. All right, so that's it for this week. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Ah.